At FIE, we're not just
students
and faculty.
We're not only learners
and lecturers.
We are expanding minds,
Expanding futures.
We're redefining the classroom.
We are life-changing.
eye-opening. We are a community.
Driven by our values.
That wants you.
You.
Yes, you.
To join.
Hello and welcome to In the Field, a podcast from FIE where we will be exploring all things study abroad. I'm Dr. Heidi James Dunbar, writer in residence and senior faculty, and I will be your host. This is another bonus episode on 10 fantastic things to do for under a tenner, this time in London. And joining me to give us all the info is Minaree, a member of our student life team. Let me introduce you to Minaree. Minaree graduated from the University of Kent with an LLB honours law degree. She has a particular interest for social justice issues, having specialised in race, gender and sexuality, post-colonialism and immigration studies. She specifically aims to create memorable settings for students during their time abroad, in particular by carrying out student wellbeing conversations and supporting them on an individual basis throughout the semesters to ensure a smooth and all-rounded learning experience has been provided. Minaree's other interests involve the performing arts. Having trained in different styles of dance, singing and acting from a young age, she also mainly views herself as a creative. Hi, hello Minaree. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to hear your suggestions for 10 fantastic things to do in London for under a tenner.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to do this.
Let's go. What can you tell me?
Oh goodness. Okay, I had a good think about it. Seeing as we're in summer mode and it was like 34 degrees this Sunday, I think I always tell the students to try the peddler boats in London, like Royal Parks. These cost literally about a tenner for 30 minutes and you can go for 1 hour, but it does double in price when you go further. But it's like amazing. You literally just go with like 4 friends, you pedal along the river. Regent's Park, you can get it for like £9.90. The Serpentine, which is literally like a 15-minute walk from here at Hyde Park, you can get it for like £10.20. It's just amazing if you want to be enjoying the sunshine whilst it lasts in London.
And is that £10 per boat or £10 per person?
Per person. You
Right.
can literally go there, pay there, get on it for 30 minutes, and then you just see other people going on it as well. I've done it a few years back, and it was just really fun. Me and my friends had a really good time. It was really funny. And yeah, it's a little trick that people don't really utilize as much as I think they should during summer anyways.
And that's Regent's Park and Hyde Park, did you say?
The Serpentine, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant, lovely. And both are, as you say, central and close to FIE. So brilliant.
Very close, yeah. That's like the main summer one I'd go for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people might know about this, but riding cable cars over Thames at Docklands is the second one that I thought was really great. It's in Greenwich, so it's from Royal Docks in Newham to Greenwich Peninsula. It's like £6 for one way.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like an alternative if you want to not go on the London Eye for like an hour. You can have like up to 10 people in every car, and it's like a 10-minute journey, and you just see all the views from one place to the other. Beautiful. It's the overseeing basically London.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't actually, as a Londoner, I'd never really thought about that or considered that.
Yeah. So you can use contactless. I think you can use the Oyster card as well. So you can also, once you do that in Greenwich, you've got amazing views at the top of Greenwich Park as well, which is right next to the Royal Observatory at Greenwich. So that's just if you want to extend that little outing. It's got a planetarium as well, the Royal Observatory, that has different viewings.
And Greenwich is a really pretty little part of town too. It's got a great market and some great little restaurants and things, hasn't it too?
Yeah, beautiful. It's on the other side of London, but it's a whole different side of London. Like I think everybody knows every east, west, south, they're all so culturally different and so unique in their own forms. Greenwich is just a whole different section that I feel like students should explore.
Yeah, no, I agree. And getting there by cable car is pretty special too, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why not? It's 10 minutes. The O2 is there as well. So you can do a good amount of shopping, cinema, so many things in there. I think there's like the trampoline place as well, where that's pretty affordable as well. So there's like all these trampolines that you can basically jump on. They give you special socks. Yeah.
I love that. That is brilliant. So cable car to Greenwich, jump about, get some food, wander around, see something completely gorgeous and different in London, be on the river. And like you say, the universities, the Royal Naval College and the observatory and everything's gorgeous there. It's a real sort of insight into that Georgian
Oh, absolutely. It actually reminded me when we were going on a boat cruise with students, it just sort of reminded me of Edinburgh a bit, just sort of that old vibe, that old atmosphere that you get in the city centre of Edinburgh. So that was pretty cool to see that. Some of our students actually went to the dance conservatory school there as well. So it was very close to them as well. So it was fun for them to explore that.
Fantastic. Okay, what's next?
Okay, the next one is Shakespeare Globe, which I didn't know about till very recently when some students went to a show there. Standing tickets. You can get standing tickets for about a tenner. And some of our staff actually assisted in watching Much Ado About Nothing recently, and they loved it. They thought it was such an incredible and immersive experience because the theatre is set up in such a unique form, and they sort of came back like, oh my God, I would go back. I would absolutely go back. And they were literally standing tickets. I don't think you would see standing tickets as like, oh, I don't know if those are going to be good seats, but they absolutely loved it. So I would recommend that.
Brilliant. And of course, by standing in the Globe, watching the theatre, you're actually participating in the original and authentic way of watching Shakespeare. That's how they would have done it, standing, chewing on sausages, apparently, drinking beer and shouting at the cast. Though I don't recommend you do that, really.
No, but I love it. That's the third one, I would say. This one, the fourth one, I think a lot of people probably know, but some students don't. So we always say in orientation, all museums are absolutely free. And I think sometimes, students can be in a rush to get out of London and sort of explore Europe when there are so many things to learn about, the history of London, the history of the War Museum, for example. The Imperial War Museum is just a museum on World War II, all the wars that happened. Museum of London, Natural History Museum, Science Museum, the V&A. So Natural History Museum, Science Museum, and the V&A are like a 15-minute walk from Foundation House. Only the exhibitions would be a bit cost a bit, but you book them online. But other than that, all of them are all free. So some of the exhibitions are actually fascinating. They do some on fashion, celebrities, architecture, art, history. I feel like something for everyone to go see if you're going on a solo date by yourself to explore what you love, something that you're passionate about. And I would say Tate Britain as well is another gem.
Yeah, the main art galleries, I agree. And I think what's beautiful is because they're free, you don't feel you've got to cram everything in. You can just keep going back and having 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just looking at something beautiful, absorbing it, and then going on with the rest of your day, meeting your pals, going back to class, whatever it is you're doing. There's something really lovely about being able to just watch and look, and watching people as well is interesting. Watching others interact with the pieces and the exhibitions is interesting, don't you think?
It absolutely is, yeah. I think I was quite new to going exhibitions recently, and when I went to Tate, I went to one by Yayo Kusuma, who had this lights exhibition. It was sort of you go into this little box where she's just placed all these amazing lights reflected onto mirrors. So everyone's there sort of either solo dating, going with couples. It's really sweet. And it lasted 2 minutes, but it was fascinating. And I agree in the sense that the way people read art, they sort of stare at it and they have their own impression of what that means to them.
Do you have a favourite museum? What's your favourite?
Oh, I really do like natural history, which is down the road. I think as a kid, because there's this dinosaur exhibition, I love going there. I go there on my break time sometimes. It's fascinating. They have the live dinosaur as well, the one that moves. Well, that's a bit of a secret. You should go there and find out. But yeah, it's amazing. It's all beautifully set up, and I think they're always finding new ways to revamp it and find new exciting things. Like the other day I went with my dad and they had a room that just had river noises and people just laying on the ground and just listening to river noises.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I think what's incredible is that all the museums in London are in such extraordinary buildings, aren't they?
Oh,
really beautiful architecture.
Beautiful. Absolutely. I think when I was looking at natural history, when I was there, all the engravings, they've just got animals, lions, eagles, they're just all represented as to what's inside as well internally. It's such a reflection of London and the history that we have here. And that's definitely not to miss. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so the museums and art galleries, the main ones, the public ones, are all free.
Yep.
So fantastic.
And number 5, I would say cinemas. Some cinemas do have, screenings for like less than 10 quid. And a lot of these are not the mainstream ones. So Cineworld or Odeon, I think those can be a bit more pricier, but it's more the ones that show classic movies, the old Hollywood ones, the indie, vintage, independent films as well. One that I go to a lot and my friends go to as well is BFI South Bank. You can get films as less as like £3. And these are very sort of good classical films and reruns of films that you wouldn't get in the mainstream ones. That's South Bank as well. And South Bank's beautiful. The whole view, you're right next to the River Thames. So what a lovely stroll to go through that and then watch a movie, get a coffee. There's a little cafe in BFI as well. A lot of premieres actually take place there as well. So it's a really good hotspot for people to enjoy. That's that. There's also Prince Charles Cinema as well that has sort of, again, vintage classics and indie movies that some of our staff members actually are signed up to. They sort of go on a little stroll there. Picture House Stratford, you can get £8 tickets for movies as well. So I would highly recommend doing that.
Brilliant, thank you. I love the Prince Charles.
Yeah,
it's a lovely little theatre, isn't it? It's tucked away behind Leicester Square.
It's so random, isn't it? It's like a little secret.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so we've got cinemas that you can find tickets for less than a tenner. That's brilliant.
Number 6, I'd say street market food. Obviously it's the street market, so when you go to a lot of the stalls, you can find food for like under a tenner, depending on what you're getting. So whether that's waffles, noodles, bao buns, ice cream, chicken wings, churros, like you name it. A lot of them you can find for under 10 or just a bit over, but you can find a lot for that price. Camden Market is amazing. I love it. It's known for punk scene, music scene, art. All markets have different vibes depending on where they are. I think it really depends on what you're going for as well. Seven Dials, which is in the heart of Covent Garden, where West End is. So it all depends if you're planning a day or if you just want to sort of go directly to these places. Foodies love it. Borough Market is unique. They've got their own fruit, veg, and meat stalls for like organic foods. So that's so random, as well as amazing street foods. Brick Lane Market is obviously, Brick Lane's known for like some of the best London's curry houses and vintage shopping stores. But it all shapes the way the food stalls work. So I would say definitely go to a street
Yeah.
market.
Okay, so what's next?
Comedy shows is my next one, I would
Mm.
say. So there's a few little ones in London. So some of them is one of them is called Spice of Life. It's in Soho. One that I've been to very recently is Top Secret Comedy Club. On some specific days, they do shows for £1. I was taken by my best friend for my birthday from one of those tickets, and I met Paul Chowdhury, who's a great comedian. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is amazing. That I guess that's why it's called Top Secret Comedy Club. Another one is Live Next to the Apollo. So it's not live at the Apollo, live next to the Apollo, which we were taken for work socials, and it's sort of up and coming artists who are likely to perform at Live Next to the Apollo in coming years, and you can get a good price of tickets depending on the season as well. So it really just depends. It does depend on the date and time. However, that's a really good one if you want to. It's really great because you see a variety of artists sort of test their comedy and their material.
Yeah, okay.
So, well, this one, The Green Spaces, is my 8th one. I think I was going to put this on number 1 because this is my favorite, one of my favorite ones. It's the fact that London has so many green spaces. It's known for the amount of parks that we have. And all of them so individually unique. So again, Regent's Park, Hyde Park, which has Diana's memorials, Richmond Park that has all the deers. We have Kyoto Gardens around the corner, this Japanese inspired garden with waterfall actually, and a lot of beautiful flower shows as well. That one's one of my absolute favorites. It's like a little hidden gem in Kensington. And one of my absolute favorites, Primrose Hill. So great, amazing views. You go to the very top and you basically get to see the views of the skyline of London. And so a lot of times I do have picnics with my friends. Just grab a picnic blanket, get a few beers and some good dipping sauces and carrots and whatever you want and have a good time. And it's so affordable, such an affordable option, but so beautiful because you're just enjoying nature.
You're right. There's a real sense that you are surrounded by nature. Yeah, ancient trees, beautifully kept parks. Some of them more wild, and sort of you do feel you're out of the city, and some more beautifully kept. But they are gorgeous, aren't they?
So beautiful, so beautiful. I think a lot of them have like trails to walk in as well. They've sort of embedded like flower trails or just trails within trees and forests. It's so lovely. I think Hampstead Heath has a lot of those as well. People go on like little trails in Hampstead Heath. But yeah, highly recommend doing that. It's just such a nice breakaway from the city, even though you are in the city.
Yeah, no, perfect. And like you say, you can take a picnic, something to drink, good friends, a ball, frisbee.
Absolutely. Which actually this links onto the 9th one, which are the Santander bikes, or just the electronic bikes that you can basically rent out in London. You can rent out the bikes for like a day. Some of them is like £3 a day for a pass. Others are like, I think like £2.90 for like 30 minutes, and then it increases the more you sort of use them. So if you keep adding on another 30 minutes, but you can pick it up in one location and then drop it off in another location. And I think that's the great part of it.
Yeah. So you could sort of cycle around the park and leave the bike at a slightly different location if you needed to.
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever the parking spots are, it's so easy. It's just a lovely way of. I see a lot of friends doing it. They all get on one and then they all just sort of go for hours and then just drop off somewhere that they want to. They're increasing the amount of bikes that they're placing in London. I think that you can find a lot in inner and central London. So there's like around more than 12,000 bikes actually, and around like 800, I think, at docking stations. So it's really great.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So you don't need to have a bike or spend money on a bike or worry about it being stolen. There are all these bikes that You log in, use, pay to rent.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
That's one of them. Mhm. Now, number 10, mini golf. It's great. I think it's such a vibe. It's such a chill environment to just play some golf. There's a lot of fantastic places that do it around London. If you go off peak, you can get a game for like around £11. And that one specifically, Junkie Yard Golf Club, from what I remember. And then you get Swingers Golf Club, that's around £13. But it depends. You can look into some and you can get off peak hours for good prices. So it depends on place and time again. But it won't hurt your bank account. So that's one that I do a lot with my friends when I just want a quick fun time.
That's brilliant. And I think so. One of the key things is I will be putting links to all of these places in the podcast notes. But there's always something to do in London. I think it's such a vast, incredible, and dynamic city that we've barely touched the surface, have we really here?
No, absolutely not.
Like a bit of imagination, and you can find all kinds of incredible things that aren't expensive that are going on. If you're willing to kind
Absolutely.
of do the work and kind of take not a risk, but be adventurous.
Absolutely. And I think these 10 that I focused on, they're all very sort of naturey and fun here and there and food vibes. But there's, depending on what you want, there's always something. Like if you like jazz, there are rooftop jazz bars that you can just Google and find. Like you can find that. There's one in East London. I can get the link for that. It's like every Wednesday and it's super affordable. It just depends on what you like, and you can definitely almost immediately find that on Google if you look hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and the work you've done on going out and finding them for us. So absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Of course, no worries.
Now, one of the things I really wanted to ask you is because you do work so closely with students and you're sort of there and supporting them and helping them through their semesters. I wanted to ask you if there was like just one piece of advice that would give them, what would that be?
I would say utilize the student life office as much as you can. I love interacting with students, and I would most definitely be happy to have a chat whenever a student wants to have a chat, whether that's just to catch up or whether that's to speak about something hard going on in their life. I really like to have those conversations. And I think it can be daunting for students when they first arrive in London. Like some of them, they wouldn't even have gotten on a flight to go abroad. And it would be tough for them to be facing that all on their own. And it would be lovely for them to have that support system, which we do provide for the students if they do ever need even a coffee. Like I would take them for a coffee outside. It's fun, and there are so many places in Kensington that we can just go for a walk, speak about it, vent about it. I would say utilize myself and other staff members.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think that is so important. As you say, there is a real support network and students aren't alone. And it can be daunting as well as absolutely brilliant. So we're there for them. You guys are there for them. Yeah,
Absolutely. And we're happy to be, for sure.
What did you love about your studies? Because your bio is fantastic. And so, I mean, you're so widely accomplished. It's extraordinary. And I'm guessing you loved studying. What was it about it that you loved?
Thanks, Heidi. I mean, from a young age, I think dealing with a lot of, because I studied law initially at university, there was a real passion for sort of justice system in general. I went through a lot of that with immigration struggles coming into the country as well. So it brought me a passion to understand people and understand what points people are passionate about themselves. And to be fair, I did my law degree and the study abroad world sort of fell into my lap very randomly. I didn't know that I would enjoy student support so much in terms of supporting people, because I get to use empathy and I get to use care.
That did really stand out for me in your bio, that all the things you've accomplished and the things that you work on tend from my perspective, felt very people focused and oriented and generous. Like even we were talking earlier about being creative, and dancing and performance is about making yourself vulnerable in the hopes that you're entertaining and inspiring others. There's something very lovely about that. Have you always been more outwardly focused and wanting to engage with others?
I feel like, yeah, absolutely. From a young age, I feel like I was always a creative as well. I went dance lessons. I did singing shows, and I currently still train in acting as well, which is great for every Saturday. And it's pretty intense as well. You do 6 hours every Saturday. It's amazing. I love it so much. But you learn so much about yourself, and you learn so much about other people, because when you're building a character, you have to learn how to somebody else's whole entire life, and how to portray the physicality and the emotions that they go through, the whole life story. So it's fascinating to hear about other people's journeys for me.
What's your city secret?
Ooh, I might get in trouble for this one. This is, I would say, a secret for all staff members and students here who know about it. But this one is Christchurch in Kensington. It's so beautiful. It's so, so beautiful. You go through these beautiful mews. They're called Kynance mews, and there are actually like little blocks that say "do not take pictures," and they're just homes. It's just a pathway of homes and flowers, but it's so picturesque. Like it's almost like you've just fell into a movie. But you go through that pathway, go up the stairs, and Christchurch, Kensington, is basically a little church with beautiful benches and a beautiful little garden sitting area where you just oversee just the quietness of Kensington. You're actually away from the busyness of the main streets. So that is, I would say, a little hideout spot.
That's a real secret. That's brilliant. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing these 10 fantastic things to do for under a tenner in London. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Heidi. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast, and our top 10 things to do in London for under a tenner are helpful to you. FIE provides life-changing study abroad experiences in the UK, Ireland and Spain. As a non-profit educational organisation, we are passionately invested in making a difference for our students as the future global leaders of tomorrow, and in the field of international education as a whole. The FIE podcast is a creative and academic space for exploring everything, people, the places and opportunities that make your experience so valuable and exciting. Join us again soon.
FIE, we're here to help you
Unlock a wider
brighter future.